Let's talk about two different ways that call information can be pulled from Gecko. Now, note that in order to get to this page, I've gone to Settings, Exports, and I clicked New Export in the top right-hand corner. The two different ways to pull call information from Gecko are through a calls type export or a campaign export. Now, we'll start with campaign. By choosing campaign, we're first told by Gecko, select one call campaign that's been run in the past. Now, in selecting this, we're telling Gecko, only include people in this export who have been part of this campaign. Every other contact on the system will be completely ignored. Whereas with a calls export, you have the ability, if you'd like, to pick one particular campaign. However, you can leave this blank, which means you're telling Gecko pull all call information for all contacts who have received a call. Now, for a campaign, we'll follow this through to the end before we hop back over to calls. You choose the recipient for the export, and you can choose external stakeholders too. You can filter the status of the user within the campaign, but also when they were last added to the campaign. Furthermore, you can customize the export using similar information to the broadcasts. For a calls campaign, for a calls export, again we can choose a specific campaign if we want, or we can leave this open. So too, you can choose the recipients. The filter options are slightly different. You can choose when the call was made, and so we could say, for example, show me all calls that have been conducted in the last 30 days with this particular status or with this particular outcome. So quite a degree of power and flexibility there. When creating the custom export, though, we have a far greater range of different options here, from the action that's been taken, the amount of time on the call in seconds, the campaign that this call took place under, when it was completed at, started at, the number that was used to call, the outcome, even a link to the recording if a recording has been taken. There's a great degree of flexibility. Now, irrespective of whether it's a calls or a campaign export that you're choosing to run, you are kind of implored to create a structure for your export. And the way of thinking about this is we're telling Gecko, this is the column A, this is my column B, this is my column C, and this is what I want the header to be. So you can completely rename this label. You can choose to tack on additional information from other sections of Gecko. So you can tell Gecko, for instance, I want everyone who received a call, but I also want to see their attendance information for this particular event. Or I want information from the contact records, responses to a form, their consent information, or organization information. It's entirely up to you how you structure this and in what format of data you want to pull in. When you're happy with your format, you can tell Gecko to make this a recurring export that'll run over and over again with an optional end date. And you can also choose to push this to an SFTP server if you're wanting to do some types of integration. When everything is set up and you're happy with the structure, you can, of course, save this as a template. So next time you come to run an export, you can just select it from the list and not have to recreate your original work. When everything looks good, just go ahead and click the export button in the top right-hand corner, and your recipients should receive the export very shortly.